Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, it never seems to be enough? Many men overlook subtle signs of being undervalued in a relationship, all while frustration quietly builds over time. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. It's not about what you do, but about what you tolerate. Surprisingly, the respect you receive is directly tied to the boundaries you set, or fail to set. It may sound counterintuitive, but women who don't value you leave clear traces behind. Behaviors that speak louder than words. These actions, or the lack thereof, reveal whether you're standing on solid ground or merely feeding into an illusion. Today, we're shedding light on these patterns so you'll never waste your energy on empty connections again. Want to know how to spot these signs, and more importantly, how to free yourself with purpose and maturity? Get ready, because this video goes beyond appearances. It cuts straight to the core, uncovering the behaviors you can no longer afford to ignore. If you've ever felt like the person you care about is always too busy for you, it might be time to reassess how committed she truly is. Someone who values your presence will always carve out time to share moments with you, even if it's just a few minutes between her packed schedule. Think of that friend who makes sure to stop by your birthday party, even if she has to leave early. Respect starts with how much value someone places on your time. This isn't about demanding unlimited availability, but rather observing whether she's willing to create moments for you. Remember that coworker who's always saying, "Let's grab lunch sometime," but never follows through? Frustrating, right? In relationships, this same inconsistency can clearly reflect a lack of purpose or genuine connection. Practicing self-awareness here means resisting the urge to constantly justify her absence with excuses to yourself. Think about how you behave when you care about someone. No matter how busy your day is, you find ways to send a message, make a call, or even squeeze in a quick coffee break. The same should hold true on her end. Solid relationships are built on mutual effort, and that requires consistent engagement from both sides. Anything less is a red flag. Here's a simple way to gauge her interest. Invite her to something meaningful, something you both enjoy, perhaps a unique event or a special place that resonates with your shared history. If she repeatedly declines without offering alternative plans, you've got a clear answer. This isn't about pushing. It's about maturely evaluating the limits of her interest. There's something almost magical about time. It's our most valuable resource because we can never get it back. When someone chooses to invest their time in you, it shows the priority you hold in their life. There's no mystery here. If she truly cares, she'll show up, fully present in body, mind, and heart. Finally, remember that self-control also means knowing when to let go. Forcing a connection with someone who doesn't share your purpose will only lead to frustration. And this brings us to an even more telling question. How should you handle situations where your efforts go unrecognized? Let's dive into that in the next section. Imagine putting energy and care into surprising someone, only to be met with indifference. Unacknowledged efforts are like planting a tree that never blooms. When your actions are ignored, it feels as though the basic respect in the relationship has been broken. A thoughtfully prepared dinner or small daily gestures, like a simple good morning message, should be enough to foster reciprocity. Without recognition, the balance in the relationship begins to tilt. Here's an interesting truth. Genuine reciprocity doesn't rely on grand gestures, but on consistency in the small things. A simple thank you or a warm smile can go a long way in nurturing a connection. If even these basic responses are missing, you may be giving more than you're receiving. This begs the question, how respected do you truly feel in this relationship? Self-awareness is key here to ensure you don't overlook these signs and lose yourself in the process. In healthy relationships, both parties strive to align efforts and priorities. Picture two scenarios. In one, you plan a surprise trip and receive a heartfelt "you didn't have to," along with a grateful smile. In the other, the same effort is met with a blank stare and no sign of appreciation. The difference lies in purpose, the commitment to valuing the other's presence. So, what happens when your efforts go repeatedly unacknowledged? At this point, setting clear boundaries is crucial. It's not about demanding gratitude, but about evaluating how much you're investing without reciprocation. Why not try an honest conversation? Talking things out can reveal hidden truths, whether they're encouraging or not. It's an opportunity to determine if you're truly on the same path. Here's something to consider. Some people avoid showing appreciation for reasons that may have little to do with you. Whether it's emotional immaturity or personal distractions, an inability to value others often reflects more on them than on you. And here's the takeaway. Your worth isn't determined by someone else's acknowledgement, but by the standards you set for what you deserve. But what if those conversations lead nowhere? That's when it's time to reassess how much more you're willing to invest. Relationships that lack acknowledgement often weaken quickly. This brings us to an even deeper question. What happens when the emotional connection is completely absent? Let's delve into that in the next section. Have you ever been in a conversation where it felt like you were talking to yourself? That sense of emotional emptiness is one of the clearest signs that the other person isn't truly invested. When exchanges are reduced to short phrases and mechanical questions, it's hard to ignore the lack of intent behind the interaction. A common example is sharing something meaningful only to receive a dismissive "cool" in response. There's no genuine curiosity, no connection, just silence. Emotionally investing in someone means showing authentic interest in their life. Questions like, "How was your week?" or "What's been inspiring you lately?" demonstrate emotional maturity and a willingness to build a bridge. Without this, interactions become transactional, as if you're just another item on a checklist. This disconnection can be draining, stripping away the mystery and excitement that keep relationships alive. Here's something to ponder. A relationship without emotional engagement is like a boat adrift. Imagine sharing a major dream or challenge and the other person doesn't even ask how it turned out. When someone truly cares, they ask. They share their thoughts and, most importantly, they show empathy. If this level of connection is missing, it's time to question whether your energy is being well spent. But how can you tell if there's genuine emotional interest? Watch for the signs. Emotionally connected people remember important details, like a special date or something you casually mentioned. They don't just listen, they actively participate in your story. If this isn't happening, you might be in a dynamic where respect for your feelings has been replaced by indifference. It's also worth noting, self-control is crucial in this situation. When you care about someone, it's easy to overlook signs of emotional disinterest. However, ignoring these red flags only prolongs the strain. Try creating a moment of controlled vulnerability, share something meaningful, and observe how they respond. Empty or evasive replies speak louder than words. Ultimately, a lack of emotional investment often reflects misaligned priorities. Without curiosity or empathy, connections lose their depth and quickly weaken. And when respect is no longer a solid foundation, behaviors that undermine the relationship begin to surface. This leads us to a critical topic, the impact of disrespect. Let's explore this in the next section. Have you noticed how small actions can speak volumes about the level of respect in a relationship? Constant interruptions, mocking your dreams, or dismissing your opinions are clear signs that something is deeply wrong. Respect goes beyond kind words. It's about creating a space where you feel valued. If someone diminishes your ideas or discredits your ambitions, it's not just a red flag, it's a call for change. Think about everyday situations. You share an idea at work, and a colleague immediately dismisses it, laughing or ignoring you? How would that make you feel? In a personal relationship, the impact is even deeper. When someone you value discards your thoughts, it's easy to start questioning your own worth. This is when you need to reaffirm your boundaries and show self-control to avoid getting caught in a toxic dynamic. Respect is also about support. Imagine sharing a new project or personal goal only to hear, "That'll never work." Not only is there no encouragement, but there's also an attempt to undermine your confidence. Mature individuals know how to offer constructive criticism without devaluing someone. If you're not feeling this balance, it's a sign there might be a misalignment of purpose in the relationship. What about mutual respect? It's not just something to demand, it's something to give. Show curiosity about the other person's world, listen attentively, and acknowledge their achievements. By doing so, you set a standard and model the behavior you expect in return. Without this effort, the cycle of disrespect can easily continue. Clear boundaries help define what is and isn't acceptable. Here's the thing about respect. It can't be faked for long. Someone who consistently undermines or disregards you isn't just showing a lack of consideration, they're revealing that their priorities lie elsewhere. Self-control in this situation means knowing when to walk away, no matter how hard that decision may be. Respect isn't negotiable. When respect disappears, what's left? A draining relationship that erodes your self-esteem and stifles your growth. But there is a way out. Recognizing these patterns and taking charge of the situation is the first step toward building something better, whether with this person or within yourself. This leads to an essential reflection. How can these experiences shape your strength and resilience? Let's save that for our next conversation. Now that you're aware of these behaviors, the question is, what will you do with this information? Will you keep ignoring the signs, or will you use this as fuel to change your reality? The choice is yours. Respect, self-control, and consistency aren't just words, they're the foundation of any relationship worth having. Take a moment to reflect on the boundaries you've set. Are they strong enough to protect what truly matters to you? The decision to transform your life begins now. And why not share in the comments which of these behaviors you've encountered in your experience? Your story could inspire others to take control of their lives too. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss any tips for building healthier relationships and a life more aligned with your purpose.